Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Chapter 5.5 Notes. Today we are going to be talking about applications of linear equations. Our learning target today is to be able to write slope-intercept equations in order to solve real-world problems. So real quick, slope-intercept. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is we are going to be plugging into this formula. Y minus your y equals the slope over x minus your x. Okay, so with these word problems, some of the things that we need to know are some of the words that we're going to need to be looking for. Okay, anytime we're talking about the slope, we're looking at words like per, each, or of. Anytime we see ordered pairs, those are points, okay? Two numbers in the same sentence. It's going to help us out a lot. All right, units for x, time, or distance, okay? And the key thing to note is that the x, the time or distance that affects, okay, the y, okay? And most of the time, y is going to be the money, okay? And that depends on the distance, okay? All right, so let's go through and look at problem number 1. It says a rental car company charges a flat fee to rent a car of, anytime I see some numbers, I'm going to start circling them. $1.20 or 12 cents per mile driven. Erica drove 350 miles and she was charged $87. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. Okay, 12 cents per mile. Okay, that kind of sounds like the slope to me. Erica drove 35 miles. Miles is a distance, which means that's the x. And $87. Okay, so that's going to be the y. So let's identify. Variables for x, that's going to be miles. And the y is going to be dollars. Do you know what the slope is? Well, yeah, the slope right there, it's per. The slope is 0.12. Ordered pairs is numbers that are in the same sentence. And if you look, the 350 and the 87, that's in the same sentence. So we know that the x is 350 and then the 87. All right, so write an equation in slope-intercept form. All right, let's take a look at this. Y minus, the y is 87 equals 0.12 x minus 350. Okay, you're going to need your calculator out for this. I'm glad I've got mine. So first thing we're going to do is distribute, and you're going to get y minus 87 equals 0.2x minus 0.12 times 350 gives us 42. And now to solve for x, or to solve for y, we add the 87 to both sides, and we get y equals 0.12x, and then negative 42 plus 87 gives us positive 45. Okay, and now we might think we're done, but we're not, because look at what the next question says. It says, how much would Erica have been charged if she's driven 200 miles? Okay, miles, if we look back at the top, that's x. Okay, so they're saying what happens when x equals 200. So to do that, we're going to plug 200 into our equation that we just figured out. Okay, so you're going to take 0.12 times 200 and you get 24. So y equals 24 plus 45. So that is a total of $69. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next one. John has a contract with this cellular phone company that gives him a number of anytime minutes. But if he exceeds that number of anytime minutes, he has to pay $1.10 or $1.10, 10 cents for each additional minute. Last month, John had 220 extra minutes and his bill was $700. So let's go through. For each, okay, that's telling me what a slope is. 220 extra minutes, that's time, and right there's dollars. So we know that X is time, so that's going to be our minutes, and Y is our dollars, okay? Do we know what the slope is? Yeah, we know what the slope is. The slope is 10 cents, okay? Do we know an ordered pair? It's 220 and 70. So now we're going to go back into the equation. Y minus 70 equals 0.10. X minus 220. Okay? So when we go through and solve that, 0.10 times 220 gives us 22. What do we do next? If I heard you right, it's add 70. Because we want to get the y by itself, and we get y equals 0.10x, and then negative 22 plus 70 gives us positive 48. All right, we're not done yet, because look at what D is saying. It says how many extra minutes would John have used in order to have a bill that was $55? So this is talking about money, right? Isn't money y? So they're saying y equals 55. So when we plug this in now, it's saying 55 equals 0.10x plus 48. It wants to know how many extra minutes. So let's go through and solve this. We have to solve for x now. 55 minus 44 gives us 7.10x. And to get the x by itself, we have to divide by 0.10. And 7 divided by 0.10 gives us a grand total of 70. So that would be 70 extra minutes. Okay. All right. Go ahead and flip it over. Let's see if you guys can figure out A and B. Go ahead and pause the video and let's find out how you do. Uh-oh. Do we know what the slope is for this one? Hopefully you said no, because they didn't tell us the slope, but what they did tell us was 2 points. So we know 4 and 900 is a point, and 7 and 1350 is a point. Now, how do we do that? I know 2 points, but how do I figure out what the slope is? The slope formula. Okay, remember that the y's go on top and the x's go on the bottom. Now, if you need to use your calculator, go ahead. I'm doing it just to double check. So we get negative 450 on the top. Now 4 minus 7, I do know that, that's negative 3. But when we reduce that, negative 450 divided by negative 3 is going to give us a total of 150. So there's our slope. And now we can use either of those points to figure out the rest of the equation. So I'm going to go with the smaller numbers. So we get 900, 150, x minus 4. So we need to distribute the x to everything inside. 150x, I believe that's 600. 150 times 4. Yep. Okay. And to get the y by itself, add 900 to both sides. I get y equals 150x plus 300. Okay, now this problem is saying that Paul has a job that pays a base salary plus commission. So taking a look at some of these numbers, this 300 right here, that's his base. That's what he gets paid all the time. And then the 150 right here, that's the commission. Okay? So how much money would Paul earn for the week if he only sold 2 cars? This one's going to be up to you. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can figure out what that is, okay? Now, your little reminder right there is up at the top where I just highlighted it for you, okay? Go ahead and pause. Okay, and you should get a grand total of $600 for the week. All right, let's read through number 4. Matthew collects comic books. He had 135 comic books in 2001. In 2005, he had 327 comic books. Okay, let x equals 0 represent 2,000. Now, the reason why they're telling you that is so we're not going to be using too big of numbers. So, going through this, x is going to be your time, so that's years. And y is going to be the comic books. So if 0 is 2,000, this number is really 1, and this number is really 5. So I'm going to highlight, since all they told us were points, let's go through. So we don't know what the slope is, but we do know 2 points. And remember, it goes x, y, x, y. So my first one, comic books, that's y. So there's 135, and then 1, and then years and comic books. There we go. Just so we had everything ordered correctly. Now, I want to see if you guys can figure out all of part C. Okay? Now, the first thing we have to do is find out what the slope is. So once you get the slope, then you can enter it into that equation. Okay? Slope first, then the equation. Pause the video. Let's see how you do. All right, your final equation should have been y equals 48x plus 87. All right. How many comic books did Matthew have in 2009? Okay, that's time, so that's telling us our x, and we just want that first number. So they're saying x equals 9. So what you need to do is plug that into your equation, and you fill it out, and you're going to get your answer. So let's figure it out. 48 times 9 gives us a total of 432 plus 87 plus 87 gives us a grand total of 519 comic books. All right. Now the next one is saying, in what year did Matthew have 615 comic books? Well, the comic books, now that's saying that's what y was, so y equals 615. So for this one, 615 equals 48x plus 87. Now we have to solve for x. Let's pause the video and see if you guys can figure it out. Now, when you guys were done, did you get the answer x equals 11? Good. Now, did that tell you what year? Remember that we're talking about 2011, okay? Because x equals 2000 at the very beginning. Otherwise, you'd be working with much larger numbers, and you don't want to do that. So that's it for Algebra 1, Chapter 5.5 notes. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys.